Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of pros go back at you with my boys Vlad and Barry. What's good, G's?
What up?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's up? We're here, Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Excited and, as always, to be here and ready for another great episode. So let's get to it. We're on to episode 60, the big 6-0.
Episode 60. You know what? I didn't even think of anybody for this week. Like, who's the number 60 jersey? That's an odd number. I thought that, but then I'm like, is he 62 or is he 60?
No, he is 60 because Joe Tooney's 62.
Okay, that's what it was.
So, yeah, we got him, and then we got a Hall of Fame quarterback, Otto Graham.
A quarterback number 60?
Back in the days. Yeah. This was when the league was, much more flexible with the numbers. And you can clearly see by a quarterback wearing number 60. And then we also have Jose Theodore, who was a goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there needs to be like some more 60s making noise out there because I don't know any. Well, other than David Andrews, like I don't know those guys.
Right.
I mean, I know Otto Graham, but like I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Never seen him play.
Right. Yeah, and then I think another one would be I don't know if you guys remember him. This one is DeBrickashaw Ferguson. He used to play for the Jets. He was an offensive lineman.
Big dude.
He was. Yeah, right. He was a big dude. Facts.
Yeah.
So he was number 60 as well. That's a bit of a quiet number. Not too many 60s out there. Right. So, and that was a tough number for me to come up with. I couldn't really find any, many notable, guys to, who are the numbers.
Usually I have them at the top of my head, but I didn't have anybody this time.
Yeah, no, this was a tough one to come up with this week. For sure, it's a tough number, but some of them are like that. It'd be like that sometimes. So
the one guy I was thinking about was Dan Copen, but he was 67.
He's usually an offensive lineman or something. Yeah, but I mean, this year it could be like 8. An offensive lineman could be whatever number they choose, I guess, right? Because they got the new regulation in the NFL.
Oh yeah, right. Where the numbers are much more, flexible, and any player can pretty much pick any number. Right. So
like that kid, J.C. Horn. He's gonna wear number 8 for Kobe for Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
the rookie.
That's dope. Right. That's awesome. I didn't even know that. That's really cool. Good for him that he's honoring the great and late Kobe Bryant in that way. So. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of corners where I'm single digits. So, yeah, and I'm not surprised about that. But good for him that he's doing that.
For sure. So, on to episode 60 we go, man. Episode 60. It's kind of crazy saying that, man. Because
60
these episodes are flying. 60 times, man.
I know, unbelievable.
On to it, man. Before we start the episode, man, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're watching right now, please click the subscribe button and push the bell notification so you get notified every time we drop a video. Please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, profans_sports. We're on Twitter, at profansports. We're on facebook.com/profansports. And, of course, youtube.com/profansports. Episodes drop on Tuesdays. Be on the lookout. Any podcast platform, you type us in, you'll find us in there. And that's on Tuesday. So every Wednesday, the episodes drop on YouTube. So be on the lookout for that. As always, we're going to get into the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL. Talk about some of the local teams, of course. Let's get to it, man. Some NBA news. I think, two of the most storied franchises in the league, right? They haven't been doing so well. Both of them are currently at the number 7 seed, and I'm talking about the Lakers and the Celtics, right? But I feel like the Lakers are even more surprising than the Celtics. They got the LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and they got other really good pieces as well.
And they're also the defending champions.
Defending champions. They've been hit by injury, to their biggest names, in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But at the same time, number 7, like, should those guys be worried? Like, you guys think they could survive a play-in tournament? Because right now, 7 seed puts them in there. Well,
of course they can survive it. The thing with the play-in tournament is that you never know. This could be the day that you have a bad game. You know what I mean? So, anybody can survive it, but you just don't want to have a bad game for those games. What is it? Mm-hmm. 2 games and then 3 games, 2 out of 3. Is that what it is?
So I think it's for the play-in. It's pretty much the highest seed. So the 7 and 9 seeds, they just have to win 1 game out of the 2, but the lowest seeds have to win 2 games in order to go to the next round. And
so the Lakers will have to win 1 game. So if that's the game, if they play a bad game in that game, you know what I mean, and then the other team gets momentum, because sometimes it's momentum, right? If one team has better momentum during that period, that's why you just don't want to be in the play-in tournament at all.
Right.
Because
facts.
You could have a bad game and then boom, that's it.
Keep in mind that, there's a week of basketball left. So they might not even be in this seed. But right now, and the way they've been playing doesn't really indicate that, they can make like a crazy push on it. They could very well end up and stay in that seed right there. So I think that's a little concerning for them for sure, because LeBron James came back. He injured his ankle after 2 games, right? Returning. He possibly will be out for another week. So, that's not good for them. That's going to be an issue.
Another week, that would be the end of the regular season.
Well, I think he should be back Tuesday or Wednesday, they were saying. So this Tuesday or Wednesday coming up. So
yeah, did you guys hear that? He said that, his his ankle will never be the same again or something like that.
Yeah, I think he was talking about right. It'll never be 100% again for the rest of his career.
For his career or the season?
He said. No, I think he said career. I think he said he doesn't ever think he'll get back to being 100% again. Like I'm pretty much assuming that when he says like ever again, that it's pretty much for the rest of his career, since he doesn't have much time left in his career. So that's how how I took it, and and thought what he meant by saying that statement. But I'm definitely very concerned about the Lakers, and all Lakers fans should definitely be extremely concerned and worried about this team right now. It's been a while that they've been struggling and not playing well and good basketball. I get that their top 2 players and most of their team has had hit the injury bug pretty hard, but even with that, the guys that have, been played and haven't been injured haven't stepped up and played well and, been able to hold down the fort for, LeBron and AD to be able to, to get healthy. So now they're in a really tough position, and trying to, get top 6 seed and stay out of the play-in tournament. But I wouldn't be surprised if they end up playing in the play-in tournament, and they better be careful, because you don't want to play Golden State and Steph Curry right now in the play-in tournament if you have to. So,
like I said, they got
together real soon.
They got at least a week left, to correct the ship. But also, after missing, 2 months due to injury, Anthony Davis, he suffered a back. He suffered back spasm against the Clippers, but then he returned against the Trailblazers. So, it's just injury bug, man. It's hit a lot of teams this year, especially. But in some good news for a guy that's been talked down about, I don't know the reason. I mean, we all know the reason why, but I'm talking about Russell Westbrook. He's now tied with Oscar Robertson for the most triple doubles in their careers, with 181. Awesome. And I think he has like 5 games left. So
right.
he could.
So he could definitely surpass that. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Right. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody said that he was probably the most athletic person that's ever played the game. You guys believe in that?
Yep. Well, I mean, it's almost like, I mean, I don't care, but also like he might as well be. I mean, 181 triple doubles. That's amazing. I mean, and it's not like he's at the end of his career. He has a good amount of years left. So by the time he's done, he might have 200, 250. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but he already has 180, you know what I mean? So he might add 20, 50 more to that. So it's an amazing accomplishment. Doesn't mean squat. I just Oscar Robertson is not regarded as the greatest player to ever play basketball. He's regarded as a great player with great stats, but it's all about winning, man, and that boy hasn't won. So,
I mean, I would say he's the most athletic point guard to play the game, but I don't think he's the most athletic player to ever play the game. But certainly, as far as guys that have played the point guard position, in NBA history, he's certainly the most athletic without question. And I mean, it is an incredible, and remarkable accomplishment to get those triple doubles and to be able to fill up the stat sheet that consistently, throughout his career. But at the same time, as great as that is and stuff, and as much as that is going to help his case get into the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done, and his career is over and he retires, it's not people are just going to look down at him and say that, yeah, it was nice you put up all those numbers and you balled out and did your thing, but you didn't win anything, and only made one NBA Finals appearance in your career to this point. So it's definitely a little disappointing of a career for Westbrook in terms of team success and and winning in the playoffs. But I mean, as far as individual accomplishments, he's certainly up there, and the top of the list is, with this generation of players. So definitely shout out to Russell Westbrook on accomplishing that feat, because it's certainly impressive, and not too many guys, are capable of doing something like that, that have played in the NBA.
I think I made a point earlier on in the year where I said that, he should go to like a contender and come off the bench, and you got for that, y'all no. So I apologize. He's doing is pretty amazing. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people complain about him padding the stats, and he goes. It's like, man, like you said, if everybody could do it, you would do it. And I think he definitely has an argument for probably being one of the most athletic, one of the most explosive athletes of all time in the NBA, because that boy, when he takes that rock and he got that full head of steam, man, he can get through anybody, and he's not like the biggest guy on the court. I think that's why, it kind of like elevates him to be, at the top there, in one of the most athletic I've ever seen anyway. Some of these guys wish they could do some of the stuff that Russell Westbrook does. Like, if you have him on fantasy right now, you're you're loving everything about him
You're
because he's
sitting
getting
pretty.
you.
You are chilling, right?
Boy, he is
Wow.
getting you points after points on a
Woo.
nightly basis, man. So,
Facts, for real. You should
shout outs to Brody,
definitely,
man.
for sure.
For
And
sure.
I think another person I'd probably say is just as athletic, if not more athletic, in the point guard position is Derrick Rose when he was young.
Yeah, rookie until he,
Or even
blew
his
out his
MVP
knees and
year
stuff.
that he
Right.
had and stuff when he was really good. He was a really good player with the Bulls and he was at his peak. I think that certainly matches Westbrook, as far as athleticism. So, but I think
Yeah.
other than that,
I think he
I
did
can't
it for a
really
couple
think
of
of
years.
anybody else.
He did it
Yeah,
for a
he
couple of
did.
years. Westbrook's been doing it pretty much like
His whole
out the
career,
gate.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right off
And
the rip, right.
I don't think Rose could average double digits in rebounds ever,
No,
in his career.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in
I
terms
know.
of athleticism, right.
Yeah. But I mean, he deserves all the respect he's gonna get, man, for everything that he's doing. Another guy,
facts, for sure.
that we thought his career was over. At some point I think he thought his career was over, but then he got a little life in the Trailblazers. Carmelo Anthony, he moved into the 10 in all-time scoring list, number 10. Which is
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, man, and I think
it is
that's
for sure, no doubt.
Shout outs to Carmelo, man, because
big shout out to Carmelo Anthony.
I think they tried to do him dirty, and he stuck to his guns, and somebody gave him a chance, and he never looked back. So shout outs to him.
Right, and shout out to Portland for giving him a chance and an opportunity to get back in the league and redeem himself and end his career the right way, like a great player in this league should end it. So
I think he got a couple more years, man.
For sure,
I think he
absolutely.
definitely has a couple more years. The way he's been playing,
I
think,
don't know. He's getting up there in age, though. He's going to be 37 at the end of the month. But, I think he can play for another year. I don't know, another 2 years. I'm not so sure. But, who
why
knows?
Not?
I don't know if he has that much left in the tank. And I'm not sure if, Portland's going to, sign him for that long either. They may give him one more 1 year deal, but I'm not sure if a team's gonna give him like a 2 year deal. Even though I could see maybe a 2 year deal with second year team option or partially a non-guaranteed, and then also it's been hearing things that like it's not certain how long Damian Lillard's gonna be there as well. I know he signed that Supermax deal just recently, but there've been in some rumblings that he could possibly he could be leaving and go somewhere else to another team and stuff. So I think that will also be a big factor because I'm sure if Damian Lillard's not there, then Carmelo's not probably not going to want to go back there. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see how long he can play for. He may be able to play for a couple years. But I'm not sure if he'll be able to last that long. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think if Udonis Haslem can still be playing somewhere, Carmelo Anthony could be, doing. Vince
he's
Carter.
Not playing though. He's just sitting on.
I know he's not playing, but I'm saying Carmelo has taken on a role right now. You know what I'm saying? He's doing very well. So I can see him taking a role, a specific role on some team to do something. So we'll see how that happens, man. But he's still looking good out there. One person
absolutely.
That's not looking too good right now is Zion Williamson. He fractured his left ring finger, and he'll be sidelined for the rest of the season. So, we got a week left. So, it is what it is.
I think he's done for the season, honestly.
Yeah.
Much as I hate to say it, I hope he comes back, but he's probably going to be done for the year.
One person that should be coming back, though, is James Harden. He's ramping things up in practice, and he should be coming back sometime in the near future. Luka Doncic. How you guys say it?
Doncic, you said it right. Yeah.
No, I mean, you know, I hear different things, you know, with different accents, you know, so, you know, I'm never sure. But he reached 5,000 points. He's already reached 5,000 points. He's amongst the most fastest to reach that out of the current players. So he's doing things, man. You know, he might not look as athletic as everybody else, but he's more savvy than a lot of people. Mike Budenholzer, we probably knew this was coming. The Bucks coach. You know, if the Bucks don't make a deep playoff run, he'd probably be fired from Milwaukee, and I think that's only right because the guy's been there, he's got enough chances, and it's just that time.
No, for sure, absolutely.
The NBA G League will have a team in Mexico, I believe, in the 2021 and 2022 seasons. So there's going to be a G League in Mexico, and they're calling it the Capitans. I hope that's how you pronounce it.
No, it's the
Capitanes.
Yes, it's Capitanes, and the team already existed. That team plays in the Mexican basketball league already.
Oh yeah, so they're gonna make it a G League. They're just taking it over.
They're just gonna be part of the G League for that season, but that team plays already. Like they already exist.
So you saying for that season, like it's just like an exhibition thing?
I don't know. I think for now on they're gonna be part of the G League.
Part of G League, like you know, like a farm system kind of thing.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of nice to get, you know, more foreign players. I actually like the foreign players when they come in and do well in the league and stuff like that. You know, represent their countries. And then you know, I think the more fascinating news: the Nets had lost 4 straight games until they won last night in a comeback against the Nuggets. So, you know, they were a half a game above the Bucks for the second seed. I don't know what the seeds are right now, but you know, they're back in the winning column, even though they had to make a big comeback for that.
Yeah, no, that was a huge win for them for sure. They definitely needed that that win to get back on track and back in the win column. So, and a good quality win against the Denver Nuggets team, one of the top teams in the West, is certainly good for the Nets. So hopefully they can continue that, you know, playing that well moving forward.
Hopefully not. I don't care if they do well.
Well, hopefully for them in their case, right? Not for us because we're not Nets fans, but for their sake and for their team. That's what I was trying to say behind that. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, with how they do the rest of the season and once the playoffs come around.
Let's move on to the Celtics, man. Some Celtics news: Jaylen Brown, he's out injured. He got a knee issue, and I think there should be concern there because, you know, he's missing pretty big games like today's game against the Heat on Sunday on Mother's Day. He's going to be missing that, so that pretty much tells you that, you know, maybe he's dealing with something a little worse than what they're trying to say.
How did we forget to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there?
Yo,
that's true. Oh,
that's
man,
crazy.
Wow. What are we doing?
I'm gonna blame
that. We're not doing our jobs, guys.
I'm gonna blame that.
Man.
I'm gonna blame that on Barry because Barry is usually the one to say those things.
Yeah, I guess I could. I know I probably should have mentioned that on the show.
I'm joking. It's all of us. None of us remember it. So
you know what? Barry actually hit me up last night. He's like, "Yeah, we gotta say Happy Mother's Day, you know, to all the mothers out there after our call." So I think we were just eager to get into the episode and you know, well, we got Mother's Day planned, so we're thinking about, let's do this episode so we can go enjoy our moms and stuff like that. So you know. Happy Mother's Day, man, for sure. You know,
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Right.
You caught that, man.
Absolutely. No, good call, man. Good catch for sure. No, definitely all the mothers out there. We appreciate you, especially our moms. So happy Mother's Day to all the great, you know, moms that, you know, hold us down and, you know, and brought us into this world. So, you know,
what do you guys got planned?
You guys. Oh, as far as Mother's Day plans? Yeah, I'm gonna go up and see my mom at my family's house and spend some time with my mom. Got her some gifts.
Put your mask on.
Yeah, I will. I'm sure. Definitely gotta have the mask on around mom, but sure, right? Gotta make sure mom is safe and healthy and protected as well as the rest of the family. So definitely I'll be masked up and make sure I have that on deck without a doubt. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing the mom and the family later today once we're done recording the podcast. Anything for you, Black, for Mother's Day plans?
I woke up this morning. I made her breakfast. Bought her some flowers. Before the podcast, I was just cooking dinner. So the dinner is on the stove right now, finishing. So once we're done here, we're gonna eat, and then bought a cake. We'll cut the cake later tonight. So we had a whole day. I mean, we usually go out to eat, but since the pandemic and all, she's not really too excited to do that. But we celebrating in-house, so yeah.
Yeah,
that's
nice,
awesome.
Man.
That's great, Vlad.
This guy's a domesticated man, dude. He's doing everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, versatile guy, right?
That's what's up, man.
Right, guy with many talents. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I got the gifts. My daughter and I, we did some, some arts and crafts and paintings and stuff like that. And then, for the mothers, and then later on, we're gonna go out for some dinner and stuff, and call it a day. But happy Mother's Day from the Pro Fan Sports crew to all the moms out there, especially the ones that listen to us, like Rita and Kim, in Canada. You know what I'm saying? So happy Mother's Day to y'all, man.
To Kim. That's my home girl right there. Right.
There you go, man. So big supporters of us.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, let's get back into the Celtics news.
We were talking about Jaylen Brown and how he's missing so many games with the knee injury.
Yeah, with the knee, man.
And a couple.
Well, I heard it's an ankle sprain now. That his latest injury was. They listed it as a high red high ankle sprain.
Okay.
I don't know.
So he has multiple injuries because now he has a knee, has an ankle, has a shoulder. I
think they be messing with the information they telling us, to be honest with you. Because the other day I saw Anthony Davis fall down and grab his ankle, and then they're like, "Oh, back spasms." I'm like, I ain't see him holding his back though. You know what I mean? It's like
exactly. That doesn't make sense. Exactly. That doesn't really match up with what the actual injury should be or how he actually got injured. Right. But I think the ankle one makes sense because I'm sure you guys remember him bumping into Jason Tatum at the end of the Blazers game, and and they both hit each other's legs and stuff. So I'm sure his ankle probably rolled and and got twisted when he had that collision with JT.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that makes sense, but I definitely hear your point, John. That some of these injuries are just
like Kevin Durant a couple years ago. I'm like. You know what I mean?
That doesn't sound right. That sounds suspect.
It doesn't look or sound right,
Right. I feel you, man.
Listen, we're not team doctors, so we can't even say nothing. Another guy that's often injured is Time Lord. He's back out there, and this time it's a turf toe. For people that don't know what that is, it's like the ligaments in your toes and stuff are pretty strained. So it doesn't feel good when you're running on that. You know what I mean? It feels like a lot of players say that it feels like you're running on pins and stuff on your toes. So, it's not something that a lot of people can play with out there.
You have turf toe, but you don't play on turf.
I think that's just a medical term for it.
Doesn't make any sense. I know.
It's just a medical term for it.
I thought only football players have, turf toe, not basketball players.
I think
that's really awkward. A basketball player having it.
Like John said, it's just a medical the way they refer to the injury.
It's just a medical term.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
That's gonna mean hopefully he gets back to. Do you guys know if he's playing today against the Heat or I don't know. I haven't heard any word as far as when he's going to be back on the court.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's playing against the Heat. But I wouldn't be
but
surprised if he wasn't.
We definitely need
Right,
him.
Exactly. Right.
We
I'm
definitely
sure
need
they're
him.
probably going to hold him out for as long as he can to make sure that he's healthy enough, for the postseason when that starts next week.
Who you saying, Vlad?
No, we just definitely need him.
Yeah, no, for sure,
Absolutely.
man. We play different with him out there.
For sure, on both ends of the floor, no doubt.
One guy that's been playing pretty good, pretty much for the last couple months. He's been on a tear. Jason Tatum, he's won the Eastern Conference Player of the Week for the second time. In April, he won that. So congrats to him. He's doing big things out there. Some past Celtics
It's crazy because, real quick, it's crazy because, definitely that's a great accomplishment by him. And he had a great April, but yet he didn't win Eastern Conference Player of the Month, though. And yet he dropped 50 plus twice in the month of April and still didn't get Player of the Month.
Yeah, from what I understand.
That's interesting and really weird to me that
Julius Randle had a good month as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so did Steph Curry. So I think it's deserved for all the guys that won accolades.
Well, Steph Curry was gonna get it no matter who
played. Exactly right. That was a given. That was guaranteed.
Like
right.
93 threes in 1 month or 100 threes in 1 month.
Right.
96.
Yeah, that's a lock right there. You can't. That's there's nothing more given and
he's
more no-brainer than that.
He's the NBA Player of the Month. Like, forget the conferences. He's the NBA
Facts. Exactly. He owned the month of April. That was Steph Curry month right there. So right. He definitely, without question, was the best in the league. For
sure.
the past month or so. So yeah, and he still had 49 last night and 11 threes. Like poof. Like he doesn't look like he's cooling down anytime soon. And I'm feel bad for anybody that has to play him in the playing game. Good luck trying to stop that guy in a one-game elimination.
Man. Since the last pod, the Celtics played 3 games. They played the Trailblazers. They lost 129-119. They played the Magics. They won 132-96. In Evan Fournier's first game back to Orlando. And then they played the Bulls, the lowly Bulls, at this 11th seed, and they lost that game pretty handedly, and it looked like trash. So, they're struggling a little bit, as I mentioned in the beginning of the pod, that they're the number 7 seed right now. And, in 2 games, it could be worse. Right now they are looking at the play-in tournament. If they don't win at least one in the next couple, so if they're losing these games, they're not going to make it anywhere. So some of their upcoming games, they're playing on May 9th, against the Heat. They're playing actually right now. And then they're playing the Heat again on the 11th, which is 2 days away. And then on the 12th, on the back-to-back, they –
Not right now. Not right now since we're recording, but while we're recording.
While we're recording, yes.
Yeah.
On the 9th,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're going to play the Heat again on the 11th, Cavaliers on the 12th, so that's a back-to-back. Timberwolves on the 15th, and then Knicks on the 16th, which are all winnable games, but, the way that these guys have been looking,
it's any game winnable for this team, exactly. Like, I get the winnable games, but it's like these games, it seems like nothing's winnable for this team, regardless of, who the opponent is and who they're playing that night. So, yeah, I know it's been, frustrating for this team. I mean, I do have a bit of good news. I just found out that Cam Lord is, playing today against, the Heat. So, and is in the starting lineup. So that's big. I don't know if he's on a minute restriction or whatnot, but at least he is on the court and is going to be playing for the Celtics today in the big matchup against the Miami Heat. But, it's just really discouraging and, aggravating and maddening the way that this team has been, performing this season and this past week. You play well against, the Portland Trailblazers and you fall short and lose. Play well against the Magic and blow them out and win that game. and then you lose to the lousy and terrible Chicago Bulls team that is not even going to be in the playoffs, and even though technically they're not eliminated, but they're that they're not going to make it, most likely. So it's been unfortunate to see them play so up and down and so sporadically, and not play with that same energy and intensity, game after game. So I'm just really don't know what to think about this team right now. I'm just kind of like clueless and don't like have any idea on a night-to-night basis which Celtics team we're gonna get, and and which games they're gonna win, because it's been just it's just been so inconsistent with this team that you just really don't know what to expect from them, night in and night out. So hopefully they can get it together, but I'm not really putting my hope in for this team too much into the rest of the season.
Vlad, you have any thoughts on that?
On the Celtics?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they're like unwatchable. They're like, they don't give you no life. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't been so disinterested in the season in a long time. Even the season with Kyrie, I feel as though I was still watching games. I was still excited. Like, I don't even
we all saw the potential.
Yeah, I don't even get excited.
Absolutely, right.
I don't even get excited anymore. It's just this team have been so inconsistent throughout the year that, like I told you guys last week, I've almost even given up on the season. You know what I mean? And I feel as though us Bostonians, we usually don't give up on teams. We usually support our teams and expect them to at least, I don't know, make some kind of noise. But this Celtics team, as inconsistent as it is, as they are, going into a Bulls game that they were supposed to win, they started flat and never got anything going toward that game. It's a shame, and for a team that has multiple all-stars and young guys, we should be doing way better. So it's been frustrating. It's been a frustrating season. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I asked you, Vlad, because I'm about to jump on the Vlad train, when it comes to Brad Stevens. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like watching the fucking Bulls game, I'm like, there was a sequence with Taco where he just like drew two plays where he just like lobbed it to Taco at the rim. I'm like, why are we drawing plays for fucking Taco? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I saw Evan Fournier started the game going nuts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He
had
fire,
like 50.
Right,
he was on fire. And then second half, we don't give him nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't draw anything up for him. And then even Jason Tatum, it's like the guy just dropped 60.
Where was he at that game? Did he even play that game? Like, he was a non-factor. Like, he
wasn't having a good scoring game, right? Yeah, he wasn't scoring so much, but it's like there comes a point where you kind of like you gotta draw the guy a play to like get him started. You know what I'm saying? Like, put him out there, and it's like he wasn't drawing plays for Fournier, who was going off, and then he kind of looked like he was lost a little bit. It's kind of like he's disappearing in some of these games where he can't really find his shot.
I saw him screaming that game. That was the one time I saw him actually.
Brad Stevens?
Yeah, he was.
Well, you should be screaming, because
he
like you should.
Screamed, he finally showed some emotion.
Yeah, he screamed that game.
For once, wow.
Right,
wow.
It's like you shouldn't be losing.
That's crazy.
You shouldn't be losing to a team like the Bulls, who are on win everything mode right now. But it's like these guys are the 11th seed, bro. You know what I mean? You need to be, at least a 10th seed, right? And there's like a couple games left, and there's people in front of y'all.
10th seed
you need to get at least there. You know what I mean? It's like they played like it was a must-win game, and we played like
absolutely.
We don't have any seeding implications with the game. And I'm like, I don't understand it. I think I'm really looking for him to like do some stuff to like impact the game, and I'm talking about Brad Stevens. Like, don't have dudes in the game like Taco when like game's clearly on the line. You know what I mean? I like Taco and everything, but like don't put him out there unless we're blowing teams out. Unless we're getting blown out.
Right. He should only be playing during garbage time. Exactly. And I think a thing that's really starting to, piss me off and get me upset about this team is that they don't play with no sense of urgency. Like Vlad said, they're lifeless. Like no sense of urgency, no.
They do it in spurts.
Exactly.
Every now and then.
And a short amount of stretches, right, John? Like you said, they don't have that for a full 48 minutes throughout the game, right? They may do it for a few minutes here and a few minutes there, but it's just it's
You're
like
not gonna win games like
when
that.
they do it. Exactly. You're not going to be successful and beat anybody in this league playing like that. I don't care whether it's the Chicago Bulls or whatever trash team you're playing. You still have to go out there and handle your business and and play Celtics basketball. And they're clearly not doing that. And every one of these games matters to them and means something. So the fact that it's just like they're not playing hard and it seems like they're taking games down off or playing to their competition is absolutely astonishing. It's absurd, asinine. And the fact that Brad's not holding guys accountable, that aren't playing well that he needs to be, is another thing that I'm sure why you guys are frustrated with him as well as I am too. Like at that Spurs game, it got so bad I was almost gonna drive to the Garden and give the guy a ride to the airport. And in the middle of that game, like I was that much done with him that if I could, I would have gone right to the Garden, pulled up, and got Brad Stevens and drove him to the airport and have him catch a flight to Indiana because that was just as rock bottom right there.
All I want him to do is stop experimenting at this point of the season. You should
know what you have and know what your rotation's gonna be.
Listen, don't experiment. You know what I mean? Like every game matters,
left, bro.
And
come on, man.
Like you said, they play down to their competition sometimes. It's like, bro, you're not gonna play, the Lakers and the Clippers every night, bro. You're not gonna play, Steph Curry every night. You feel me? Especially like Jason Tatum, bro. When you play somebody like the Bulls, it's time for you to feast and eat, bro.
Exactly.
Like, it's time for you to kill, bro. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Listen,
you should be cooking them.
For real.
Like
the Thunder. Bro, you should have had 70 points in that game.
He didn't play that game against the Thunder, but I tell you though, teams like that, like teams that are, that trash and that, awful, you're right. You know what I'm saying? He should be freaking, he should be giving them work and freaking.
Lights out, man.
Exactly, right. He should be eating and freaking, it should be barbecue chicken, as Shaq says.
Kind of like Steph Curry did to the Thunder last night. You know what I'm saying?
Just that was barbecue chicken
ass, bro.
He took full advantage of that and did what he had to do. That's what great players do in this league. They play really well, not only against good teams, but the bad teams as well. And they take advantage of the teams that they know that are better than them. And when they know that they're the best player on the court, they actually play like it. And that's the frustrating thing with Jason Tatum. And it's like, when I notice, I don't know if you guys also notice this with him, that if his shot's not falling and he's not scoring, he's, not really much of a factor in the game. Like, he doesn't do other things to have an impact and effect on, the outcome of the game. He's like, has his, head down and has like poor body language when his shot's not falling and, and he's having a terrible shooting night. Like, that's the thing that I've noticed with him.
I've noticed that sometimes.
This season.
Yeah, I've noticed that sometimes, and I think I think a lot of superstars actually go through this because they're just so used to like dominating the game, and when it's not working, it's not working. But if you want to be that two-way superstar that you keep talking about, man, when you're not scoring like that, man, you need to be getting blocks on dudes. You need to be getting assists on dudes. Like, you need to be setting up other guys, man. Setting your teammates up. You know,
Right, playmaking, facts.
You have to be Aaron Nesmith. You know what I'm saying? If your shots are not dropping, you know, you got to go out there, you know, with all the enthusiasm.
I think that's what I've been talking about. Is those guys need to make that step to become great players. You know, right now they're just shooters, they're scorers, they're great scorers, both him and Jaylen Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys haven't made the step to be a good all-around NBA player. And it's like Barry was saying, when you're not scoring, you got to find ways to affect the game, either defensively or just hustling for the ball, getting blocks, getting, you know what I mean? You just
creating for others, exactly. Right,
you just have to affect the game in that sense. But I agree with you, John, that Taco should definitely be in the game during garbage time. But I just want to highlight that play he had against
Mo Bamba.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
He put it in between the legs. He went up. He faked. He went under, and then he scored.
He gave him like 4 moves, bro.
He looked like
KD. For real, I know.
He looked like KD out there.
I was just gonna say, not only that, he looked like Kevin McHale with the up and under. Since McHale used to be a pro and an expert at doing up and unders, like that was beautiful, man. Like
it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Right.
Hey, man, when we're up by 30, Taco, do your thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if we're not
that's when it's time for you to cook. Exactly.
If you're not that, have your jogging suit on. Don't even take it
off. Have your warm-up gear and just chill on the bench and make yourself comfortable.
Do something, man. You know.
Oh man.
But we'll see.
One other thing on this team that I wanted to point that out. I'm sure you guys have noticed this is they also don't know how to play through adversity. Like when things don't go their way in a game, and whenever like there's a bad call or like a bad play happens against them, it's like they just get down on themselves and they stop playing, and they don't continue to keep playing the game and fight through it.
Yeah, it's because they're too busy, blaming the refs for everything and getting suspended for talking shit to the refs. You know what I mean?
Instead of winning ball games, like that's what they should be focused on.
You're worrying about the wrong things. So the Celtics got to figure this thing out because the playoffs is fastly approaching, and I don't think any of us feel comfortable with them going against anybody but the Pacers right now, because they're the only team I see them being able to actually win a 7-game series against right now with how inconsistent they've been. So we'll keep you guys updated on what the Celtics are doing and their outlook going forward. But I think Barry said this a couple weeks ago, like I don't know what their chances are in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We'll clearly
we'll see
don't.
What happens. Nobody knows. No one has any idea on what to expect in the playoffs for the Celtics. It's right. It's still, it's kind of like a weird feeling because usually we have an idea, but with this team, it's just like it's just so much unknown and uncertainty that it's right. It's terrible that we're at this point and they still haven't gotten it together. So
yeah, man. On to the NFL we go. Last week we had a huge NFL segment with, the draft and everything that was going on with the Patriots and the players, all the surprises and non-surprises. This week is obviously going to be a little shorter because, there's not much going on. But let's get into some news, man. The Packers and Aaron Rodgers, they've been at odds for what seems like weeks now, right? I mean, really, it's been like at odds for the last couple of years because, through the media, Aaron Rodgers has, pretty much told us his disappointment, in the organization and the guys that they've been, drafting, going back to drafting Jordan Love in the first round a couple of years ago. But the feud continues, and Aaron Rodgers referred to the GM as Jerry Krause. If people don't know who Jerry Krause is, he was the manager for the Bulls when Jordan was there. And they were at odds over there as well. So, it's not a guy they liked, and it's not a great comparison, to say the least. The Bears signed, a former Patriot receiver, Demir Bird, I believe, to a 1-year contract. I believe, so
Yep, that's right.
he's going over there to play with Justin Fields because Dalton ain't it.
Yeah, sure. And the Red Rocket is definitely
The Red Rooster. The Red Rooster.
Oh, a Rooster, right, yeah, Rooster. Yeah, not Rocket, Rooster. Yeah. He definitely shouldn't be QB1 for that team. So, yeah, at least he better not be, or else that's a problem if he is. So, we'll see what happens with their QB competition in training camp and in preseason. But I don't want to see him out there.
Yeah, man. The NFL, the NFL, man. They always got some rule changes. It always seems like something's happening with the NFL as far as like the rules and regulations and what teams can do and can't do and stuff like that. But Jawan James suffered a serious injury while working out away from the Broncos facilities, and he could lose his $20 million contract. Because the NFL actually put out a statement letting teams know that they're not contractually obligated to pay players that are injured away from NFL facilities, which is like the stupidest shit I've ever heard, because football is really a year-round sport, and you can't really take much time off from football because you literally have to be in shape year in and year out to be able to perform, unless you're like a offensive lineman, defensive lineman, like you have to be working out, watching your weight, doing all sorts of stuff to stay on top of your game.
I was gonna say unless you're Vince Wilfork, but
right.
But he worked out though.
Listen, Wilfork
Yeah.
can dunk, bro. At the size he was, so like he was an athletic big dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, and he was low key fast too. He had that, that speed that would sneak up on you. Wouldn't think he'd be fast, but he could move and had some wheels. So
I miss him, man.
Yeah, me too. That was my guy. That's like one of my top favorite Patriots of all time, right? And like a person that like I legit idolized, like growing up watching football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you done?
Yeah, no, I was done. I was just gonna say he was even the reason why I wanted to play defensive tackle and and got as big as I did because I wanted to play like him.
Look like Wilfork.
Thank you. I appreciate you, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I wanted to be a baby Vince out there on the field.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's crazy what the NFL is doing because players have to work out away from the facility. Like it's not like when they're away from the facility, they can just not work out. You know what I'm trying to say? Players can get
out there napping.
Yeah, players can get injured doing anything. You can be working out properly, lifting weights, and then all of a sudden something happened when you get injured. So, and I mean, I agree that if that player gets injured while he's working out, maybe he doesn't get the $20 million. But in the contract, there should be some kind of statement saying if you get injured away from the facility or in the facility, you get $10 million. You get half of your pay or 75%. Whatever it is, there should be some sort of language in the contract where you get paid some percentage of your contract. Your contract shouldn't just be void.
Null and void.
Null and void just because you got injured. That's just ridiculous.
Makes no sense.
Oh, it is. No, I certainly agree with that. It's unfortunate that the NFL is, treating, their players like that, and not willing to pay them even when they get injured, working out, whether they're in the facility or not. It sounds just, it sounds terrible, and is a shame and disgraceful, the fact that the league doesn't want to pay players just because an injury happened. Like injuries happen all the time. That's part of not only sports, that's part of football. Like guys get injured not only playing but working out and off the field as well. So they got to make sure that they're still compensating these guys. I get they shouldn't, if they don't want to compensate them in full. And, I get that, but they should at least still get a good amount, like Vlad said, of their contract. Regardless of whether they get injured or not. It's just like they're treating these guys like shit. And it's unfortunate. And, I'm getting tired of continuing to, see these owners treat, their players like garbage.
I mean,
hopefully that changes soon.
My thing is, these players literally get workout plans from the team. It's
right.
like, the big guys come in and they're like, yo, you got to make sure you lose, 10 pounds before the season starts. They give you a weight limit. So when I'm away from the facility, what do you want me to do? Like, not do anything? Because this makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like, these guys have to work, like they literally have to work out to actually keep their jobs. Guys have to work out, in order to sign to a team. So it really, I think it's backwards, and I think that would be a really disservice to the players if they're losing their contracts, for trying to stay in shape. And after all, they're not trying to stay in shape for themselves. They're trying to make your team better. They're trying to stay in shape to help out your team. So I don't understand that right there. Hopefully they move away from that. The Dolphins, they released longtime captain Bobby McCain, which, this news is always sad for the guys that have, a home in the. Go ahead.
I think it's actually even deeper than that. I'm actually afraid for Brian Flores. I feel as though he's gotten rid of a lot of his captains this season. And when you're doing things like that, sometimes it works and sometimes it works fine, but sometimes you lose the team.
Absolutely.
You get rid of all those captains and all those guys, you know what I mean? So I'm a fan of Brian Flores. He's a black head coach. I want nothing for him to succeed, but sometimes when you're clearing house like that, it can come back and bite you in the ass, and I would hate to see that.
I mean, to that point right there, what I remember was when Kyle Van Noy signed back with the Patriots, and they asked him a question. They asked him, what is the difference between, Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator as opposed to head coach? He said, next question.
He said no comment.
No comment.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even hear about that. I didn't even know that. That's what he said when he was asked about Brian Flores. Wow, that says it all. That's telling right there. Very telling.
That wasn't in my mind until Vlad said that right there. Hey man, like you said, sometimes they just lose the whole team, and he's a new coach, and sometimes you see what happens. Like the guys in Detroit with Matt Patricia, they got sick of his shit, pretty quickly. They're like, listen, you got to prove yourself just like we got to prove ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just working under a Hall of Fame coach doesn't give you that complete respect that you think you're going to get because of it.
You got to win.
Right.
Hey, you got to build your own resume, man. Bill Belichick ain't coming in the door. You know what I'm saying? So
right. No, facts for sure.
You got to build yourself
your own
up.
Coach and be yourself, right? And and build your own team culture and team identity, right? And don't try to, duplicate what Belichick is doing and what how New England was when you were there. You gotta put your own stamp on your team, because there's only one Bill Belichick, and there's not gonna be another. So these guys have to do a better job of that. And I'm referring to these guys, all these coaches that leave after coaching under Belichick and go be a head coach of another team, because there's just too many times I'm seeing that these guys turn out to be unsuccessful and not well. Like Miami's getting better and they're doing well and heading in the right direction, but at the same time, you want to keep that going. You don't want to take 2 steps back, after you took a step forward.
I think Flores definitely needs to be careful, because there's not many black coaches in this league, buddy. You gotta
exactly.
see, you know what I mean? You gotta do things to keep that right there.
It's
Frank
a privilege
Ragnow,
being a coach in the league.
Right. Frank Ragnow became the highest paid center in the NFL. He signed a 4-year, $54 million contract, and $42 million of it is guaranteed. So, guys doing big things. Running back Jerick McKinnon signed with a new contract with the Chiefs, which that's good for them. Blaine Gabbert, I didn't even know this guy was still in the league, man. Like, how is Blaine Gabbert still in this league?
I knew that, but I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's like, yeah, it's crazy that he has a job in the NFL, even a backup job, when like there's so many quarterbacks that are better than him, and and that have done more than him. So yeah, I mean, it's good for him that he's able to keep his job and be on the Bucs for another year. But it's just amazing that guys that even guys that are better than him don't, what I'm saying, you just don't have as much of an opportunity and stuff, or aren't even in the league, and yet we have guys
I don't
like
want to
that
spend too much time talking
about
Blaine Gabbert.
Right. No, I hear what you're
So
saying.
That guy, he signed for $2.5 million to the Bucs, so we'll see what happened with him.
He's backing up Tom Brady.
He's never gonna see the field.
Easiest job there is.
Absolutely. Right. Who wouldn't want to get paid $2.5 million to be Tom Brady's backup?
Hey, listen, I'll get I don't think they pay $2.5 million for the water boy, but if they pay for that, I'll do that for Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying?
I'd even do it for $1 million.
Listen,
or even even $500,000. Like,
listen,
he doesn't even have to be $1 million.
$100K, okay? Like, I don't care.
Word. I feel you on that.
And lastly, for the NFL news, Cowboys released Antoine Woods. We'll see where he ends up, if anywhere at all. Because if the Cowboys are releasing defensive players, that's probably not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Good luck. The Patriots, onto the Patriots news, some of the Patriots news going on. The Patriots picked up the 5th-year option for Isaiah Wynn, the often injured offensive lineman, but when he's out there, he plays well and he looks good. But he just needs to consistently stay healthy right there. And at the same time, they declined the 5th-year option for Sony Michel, which I don't think is very surprising because, the value of running backs in this league is not very high. And, usually they're not gonna do that unless you're like one of the top backs in the league. And it happens to a lot of running backs. So we'll see what happens with that. Jason McCourty, former Pats, he's gonna go down to the Dolphins, So Brian Flores is like, hey, former Patriots,
Right, won a championship with him. Right. Come over here, bro. Hey, come get you a 1-year deal and be, and play for the Dolphins. Right. So, now good for J-Mac that he signed with the Dolphins, and glad that, he was able to play here for 3 years and do pretty well for the most part, in particular that Super Bowl that they won.
Man. He did all right. He did well in the Super Bowl. Let's not, get this thing confused here.
Right.
Like, I understand he was Devin McCourty's brother. At the same time, it's like the guy wasn't like doing that great. He had some shining moments. And I like the letter he left for the Patriots and stuff like that. But it's like, all right, man. Thank you.
You weren't that important. You weren't.
Listen, you had really one notable play, your whole tenure here, which was the biggest play.
I was going to say that's a big one.
That was
the
about
biggest
that.
play in that Super Bowl. It was a big one.
That was his biggest play, in his whole time here. I believe. You know what I mean? Like regular season and postseason. So, I respect the McCourtys, but I don't think, he's like a Patriots Hall of Famer or anything like that. Go to the Dolphins, man. You know what I mean?
He ain't no Devin McCourty, that's for sure. Right. For real, he ain't no D-Mac, man. So,
yes, sir.
Good luck to him in Miami.
Patriots finally signed an undrafted free agent, and, I think they signed a good one, somewhere that we actually, I think, need. they signed undrafted kicker Quinn Norton, from Michigan. He's going to be competing with Nick Folk, and I think that's a good move. But it's very surprising for the Patriots not to bring in any other undrafted free agents. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll keep monitoring that, and I think it's because of the year that it is. I'm saying another pandemic year. The teams could have to go back to like mixing teams up. Splitting teams up to like, kind of like double practice kind of thing. So, and they already have so many guys on the roster, right, that are not going to make the team. So it's like, what are we doing? And if you look at the draft, they picked some guys that are pretty high and they know probably will contribute right away. So, it is what it is with that. And then lastly, man, since we did our draft analysis last week, even I was talking about Mac Jones. I think a question came up is what do you guys make of the comparison between Tom Brady and Mac Jones? And that's been like beat up all week, for the last couple of weeks since he's been drafted. Everybody's talking about it. He looks like Tom Brady, blah, blah, blah. But what do you guys make of it? Like, have you guys got a chance to, because I've studied up on him. I've seen a lot of the highlights and a lot of his tape. What do you guys think of the comparisons? You guys think that's fair? Or, I don't think it's fair because obviously Brady's the GOAT. But do you guys see anything there?
I just think that it's early, man. Quarterbacks come into this league all the time with the greatest potential and look like nothing in the NFL. The NFL moves faster. No matter, I don't care if you were in a pool style offense in college. The NFL is faster. It's harder to read defense. You might have a good year out there. The next year they watch film on you, and then you can't play as well anymore. You know what I mean? So to compare him to the GOAT is just. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just waiting to see what he looks like. To me, I'm not reading into those comparisons. I'm okay. This is Tom Brady we're talking about. Somebody that won 7 Super Bowl and he's still playing in the league. He's getting mad just hearing about that. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm just not buying into the. Like, I understand why they're making the comparison. I just don't need to hear about it because with quarterbacks, you just never know. So I just want to see him in the field. I just want to see him play. I want to see what kind of player he is. What kind of discipline does he have? What is he gonna bring to the Patriots? You know what I mean? So the only thing is, I know in college he beat out. They bought a 5-star recruit, and he beat him out for the starting job. And that's something Tom Brady did himself. And that's great to see somebody beat out somebody that they brought in to replace you. I think that's a good thing that he has going for him. But
competitive.
Do it in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's it's just asinine, and as Stephen A. Smith would say, blasphemous to compare.
Blasphemy.
Right, that is blasphemous. That to compare Mac Jones to Tom Brady. I think no quarterback, coming into this league right away that just got drafted, that hasn't practiced or, played any games yet should be, compared to Tom Brady. I get that, he's the one that kind of started it and drew that attention and brought this up, as far as comparing himself to Tom Brady, saying that, that's who he looked up to growing up, that he wanted to play and be, like Tom Brady, and, pretty much, idolized him through, out of his football career to this point. But, we just can't be doing that. And, he just got to be himself and be your own quarterback, and, have your own career and make your own name for yourself, and don't try to live up to somebody that's done the unthinkable and, unexpected, and has achieved so much greatness more than any other player that's ever played in this league. So, don't, have his standard. I get that he has high standards for himself, as anybody should, but I think that's just a little bit too high of expectations and standards for anybody to have, particularly Mac Jones. So, just hopefully he's just able to come in and, be himself and, play, play his own game and not worry about coming and being another Tom Brady, because that's just not going to happen. And, and no one's going to do what Tom Brady has done in the NFL, in this league, to this point. So, people need to stop talking about that, because it's ridiculous and absurd.
Yeah, I mean, I think last week I spoke to you guys about Mac Jones, and I told you who he reminded me of. You know what I'm saying? When I say that, that's not to compare him to Tom Brady, because it's like, one really stupid thing I've heard all week, like, is Mac Jones the second coming of Brady? But it's like, bro, Brady's still in the league, so how could he be the second coming of Brady? Like, the guy's literally just won a Super Bowl, so that can't happen. You know what I mean? I think what people are seeing is, they're going back to watch the film, and they're seeing the way he's commanding the line of scrimmage. And I think that's really something, that you can look and be like, hey, there are similarities there, but there are also similarities with him and like Matt Ryan, with him and like Drew Brees or something like that, the way they command stuff and are, they're not like the most athletic people, but they know the game inside out. And like Vlad said, the NFL is a different beast. You got to prove it up here, and until this guy, goes out there and beats a Cam Newton, for the job, you can't really make that comparison even with Brady. Like, if the guy can't beat Cam Newton, then it's like, what are we comparing him for?
Exactly.
Yep. But we'll see what happens with Mac Jones for sure. I think if you're gonna compare him, you would probably compare him to a young Brady, in the 2002, 2003, years. That's the only way you can compare those guys. You know what I mean? And in that sense, I think he's a little more advanced than a young Tom Brady was, because he does come from pro style offense. Like, the guy is teaching Bill O'Brien the offense for Alabama right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the guy they put in charge to teach him the playbook. So clearly he's a smart player. He has that going for him. But like Vlad said, you got to come out there and prove it, in this league. And hopefully for our sake, he does prove it. And hopefully for our sake, he does resemble something like, a Tom Brady. But there'll never be another one. So, the comparison is definitely, it's not warranted. It's not earned or anything like that. So, I think it's people just watching tape and, everybody's so excited we got a new quarterback. That's how they feel. One thing I do like to address, we named the podcast the Mac Jones era begins, right? And I heard that a lot of people, they didn't agree with that because they love Cam Newton, and that's disrespectful to Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But, I was hearing that too, John. I heard that talk too.
Right.
And there's even people messaging and coming at me, you know what I'm saying, about the title of that podcast.
Yeah, let me be clear here. Mac Jones is the number 15th pick in the first round. You know what I'm saying? So, realistically, he is the future of the franchise. I'm not saying his era is going to begin right this second, but if you don't want to be back in the upper echelon of the draft, you want Mac Jones to have the era next. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we're saying, Cam Newton's done, but realistically, the Mac Jones era has begun, and the time is clicking on him to actually come in and take over, because Cam Newton has a 1-year deal, guys. Cam Newton's not our long-term quarterback as much as you like him. We like him too.
He's a bridge quarterback. Exactly.
We understand, what it is here. He's getting paid less than majority of the backups out there. So
exactly.
don't, the writing's on the wall, and he doesn't have a long leash, man. If this guy goes out and we start out 3-5, like Mac Jones is coming
See
in,
you
and
later,
the errors,
right.
like
On to Mac Jones,
you're out of
right.
there. If you go in the game and throw 3 picks and you can't complete more than 50% of your passes, you're out of there, bro. You know what I mean? Cam
and not
Newton
even
really
throw
has
for
to
100
play.
yards, John. And
He has to play lights out.
Yards?
Exactly. You have to play lights out in order to keep this kid from coming in and we're not even thinking about Jared Stidham.
We're not lights out, but you have to play well enough to be able to
Cam Newton
stay on the field.
Has to play lights out in order for him to stay the starter of this team.
The only way
I'm saying, like, that's the only way he keeps the job.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, I'm saying he has to be much better than what we saw, last year and what we've seen recently from him, even in the end of his time in Carolina when he was playing well. But lights out, I think that's a bit too strong of a word, even though I get what you're saying, but I don't know if it
Cam
has
Newton
be to that extent.
I agree
has to throw at least 100 yards more a game than he did last year.
Without question, I'll give you that. All right, that I'll give you, definitely.
I agree with John. I think he has to play exceptional to keep that job. No matter, even if he plays okay, that job is gonna become Mac Jones eventually. But if he play lights out, he can keep that job. He has to play exceptionally well to keep that job. That's just because you invest a 15-round pick in a guy, you're gonna give him the job eventually. So it's similar to Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Jimmy Garoppolo was set to take over Tom Brady's job. Like that.
Vlad, I can't hear you.
Me either. I couldn't hear anything.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can't hear you right now.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, now we can hear you. We couldn't hear you when you were talking and making your point.
What was the last thing you guys heard?
He has to play exceptionally well.
Exceptionally well, right? Cam Newton.
Cam Newton has
to keep his job as the starting quarterback.
Got it. Cam Newton has to play exceptionally well to keep his job as a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo was set to take over Tom Brady's job when they drafted Jimmy Garoppolo. Like the only reason why he didn't take over Tom Brady's job is because Tom Brady played exceptionally well. And exceptionally well means 2 Super Bowls. Like 2 Super Bowls. And when you invest a 15th round pick in a guy, no matter what, eventually he's going to see the field. And the only way he doesn't see the field is if the guy ahead of him plays exceptionally well. So Cam Newton has to play exceptionally well for him to keep that job. If he's playing just okay and we're losing a couple games, we're winning a couple games, like eventually Mac Jones is going to take over that team.
Or you're throwing a pick at the end of the game.
I'm not so sure about that, because what if the team's winning games and Cam Newton's playing well but not exceptionally well? Because if the team's winning games and the offense is good enough to, playing well enough to win games, then Belichick's not going to take him out. And remember, you know what I'm saying? Belichick doesn't really like playing rookies that much, unless if he absolutely has to and doesn't have any other choice or option at that position. Like rookies don't play that much and get that much, run in their first year with the Patriots. So I think that, yes, of course, Cam Newton has to play better and, in order to keep his job. But at the same time, if, the Pats have a good record, start the season 5-2 or 6-1 or something like that. He's Cam Newton, playing good, but he's not playing great. Like, he's not just gonna take him out and pull him out of off the field and out of the games if the team's winning, because at the end of the day, it's about winning football games and about the team success and not, about individual success. And I think that, and also with the loyalty that Belichick has to Cam Newton, it's going to, take the whole
I think
team
that
to
word
play
is
bad and
played
to
out.
lose games, and to have a losing record, like, for him to be able to, be benched and taken out of the game and put Mac Jones in. So, like, I want to see the kid play too, and I want to see them, put him in and see what he can do, for us. But I don't think we should be expecting it immediately, like right away, if the team is still, playing well, and if Cam Newton is playing well but not exceptionally well, and the team's, winning game and has, really good record to start the season or even midway through the season. Like, that's what I really think, what how Belichick's gonna handle that quarterback situation, and what we should, as fans, Patriots fans, should expect, when it comes to the quarterback backs on the roster.
I think that word loyalty is played out, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like last year, who did the Patriots have for Bill Belichick to go to other than really Cam Newton? We had Brian Hoyer. We saw what happened. A fucking complete disaster. You know, we saw Stidham come in and throw two more picks, and he threw touchdowns. He really had no choice. I mean, Bill Belichick had $100 million quarterback on the roster when he switched to Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? So I think if he sees that a player is able to digest information and do the right thing with the ball, I don't think it really matters about loyalty. If he was that loyal, he would give Cam Newton a lucrative contract that would be respectable and not less than other, not less than other backup quarterbacks in this league. So I think, like Vlad is saying, if he doesn't play exceptionally well and the team is carrying him, I think he's gone. You know what I mean? Like, even if he plays good and the team, is still carrying him,
And
I don't know.
Belichick sees that Mac Jones can play better.
He's doing well in practice.
Like, I think he's taking over.
I think it comes down to the information, because like we were all watching this team last year, and we saw Cam Newton looking at the line of scrimmage, not knowing what the hell was going on. And all three of us sat there. We was like, dude, that you got to protect your left side. You know what I mean? And then boom, Cam Newton gets smashed. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, you can't have stuff like this going on this year. You know what I mean? And if that's happening again, if you're getting balls batted down at the line of scrimmage at 6'5", you know what I mean? It's like, man,
that's unacceptable.
He's on a short leash.
Inexcusable.
He's on a short leash, to say the least.
No question.
But I think that brings us to a question from Adrian Meck, who sent us questions before.
Yeah, big shout out to Adrian Meck. That's my guy.
Yeah, he asked, will Mac Jones start a game for the Patriots this season? And, that that goes to what we were just saying. I think if Cam Newton doesn't play exceptionally well and, he's making a lot of mistakes, then Mac Jones will certainly get – I don't see how Mac Jones is not going to start a game this year, to be honest. In my perspective, I don't see how.
No matter what the record is and how well the team's playing?
I don't see Cam Newton, playing well enough throughout the season to hold him back, is what I'm saying.
I'm willing to be wrong in my take. I'm willing to be wrong because if I'm wrong, that means Cam Newton came in and blew us out of the water. So I'm willing to say that Mac Jones will start a game this season for sure and take over for Cam Newton. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if I'm wrong, it means that the team is doing so well and Cam Newton is playing so well that Mac Jones doesn't have to come in. But based on what I've seen and based on what I've seen from Cam Newton over the last couple of years, the last 3 years, Mac Jones will start a game for the Patriots this season.
Yeah, I definitely would have to disagree with you on that. I don't think he'll start this year. Most likely, I think he'll redshirt him the first year. But like you guys said, this all depends on the performance, of Cam Newton and stuff, and really the performance of the team and the offense, as a whole. I think, if, things do get bad and hit rock bottom and, get worst case, scenario, that, yeah, he, most certainly will, start, a games for the Patriots. But I'm hoping that, it doesn't get to that point and things don't get that bad with this team like it did last year. And, I'd like for him to, just sit out sit out most of the season and, just not having, to be rushed in and thrown into the fire right away, and to just, develop and, bring him up slowly but surely. But at the same time, I do realize and understand that, yeah, if Cam Newton, plays like shit and plays anything close to what he did last year, then yeah, he'll definitely be starting games and will and will play this season. But hoping and don't expect for Mac Jones to start any games, unless if he has a better training camp in preseason and and then looks that much better than Cam Newton.
Listen, if Cam Newton is missing guys, 5 yards down the line, I think there's no way he's gonna
send his ass to the bench.
I
Exactly.
think there's no way he's gonna hold back the most accurate quarterback in all of college football last year. So we'll see what happens, man. And listen, I just want to see good football. I want to see smart football. I want to see, easy plays getting completed. I don't want to be frustrated during games. I don't want to see more than the quarterback sees out there, and I'm watching this shit on TV. That's all I'm saying. Eddie Rodriguez is back.
Yes, he is. My guy, Eddie Rodriguez. Big shout out to Eddie.
I think, last year he might have been hurt a little bit with how the season transpired with the Steelers.
He was in his feelings with the Steelers and how they ended the season. I don't blame him. I'd be in my feelings too if I was a Steelers fan. So
yeah, take a seat next to us because we were disappointed too in our season. But it's a new season now, and I think he got some questions. He got 2 questions, and I'm gonna get both of them. Firstly, can a running back like Harris help out the Steelers? He's talking about Najee Harris, passing game, and then another question: will Alejandro Villanueva, who actually signed with the Ravens, from the Steelers, can he be an offensive lineman for the Ravens in the passing game and running game? And you guys want to take those first? What do you guys think about Najee Harris? Can he help in the passing game?
Well, anytime you draft a running back, a talented running back, obviously that's going to help out the passing game, because if you have a threat for the run, that's going to help the passing game. But I hate to tell you this, Eddie Rodriguez, you guys need a new quarterback. Like, I don't care.
I don't know why they didn't draft one this year.
I don't care how many running backs you have out there. That boy, Waltersberger, can play 8 games. After 8 games, his arm is like noodle spaghetti, and you
I got that noodle arm,
and that's it. So for 8 games, you're gonna see beautiful passes, nice long balls. After 8 games, I don't know. It's gonna be he's gonna need a new arm. As far as the offensive lineman from the Ravens, going from Pittsburgh to the Ravens, Villanueva, of course, I think that's a great pickup for the Ravens. They need to protect Lamar Jackson, and I think it's a great move for the offensive line, and that's gonna improve their games tremendously.
I think certainly, that first question with Najee Harris, I'm sure he'll help, their offense and, help their, passing game, definitely having the threat of the run and, making them a more balanced, offense is certainly something that the Steelers, offense needed desperately in the worst way, since they had no kind of running game whatsoever last year, even, with James Connor, but at the same time, that offensive line was trash as well towards the end of last season, and partially, to blame for their, poor, running game or it being a non-factor in the offense. So I think that, he'll certainly help and, contribute. I'm not sure whether he's, a pass catcher and, or how like effective he is in the, in the passing game in terms of being able to catch passes out of the backfield. But I'm sure that he'll definitely, I'm sure it can't get worse than last year, and I'm sure, he'll be better than what you guys had, last year, to say the least. So, I mean, we'll see how he does. Hope he's a good kid, so I hope that he does well and, and plays well, in his rookie season with the Steelers. So, but yeah, like Vlad said, like, the biggest thing you guys should be concerned is with the quarterback, and they didn't draft a quarterback this year, and that was surprising because this was one of the deepest quarterback draft classes in recent years. So the fact
maybe
that
they think Dwayne Haskins is going to step in,
or Mason Rudolph. Oh man, I know. Maybe they think they got their next guy in Dwayne Haskins or Mason
former
Rudolph.
first round pick, man. Hey.
Right. I mean, right. We'll see how they do, but I'm not sure they're
if he
gonna
stops
do that
clubbing
much.
long enough,
Right. Right, for real, man. For real, absolutely. So yeah, definitely the Steelers definitely messed up with not getting a quarterback. But as far as Najee Harris, I'm sure that he'll play well for them and be a factor as long as the offensive line plays better. And it doesn't help that they got rid of their best offensive, or not got rid of, but let their best offensive lineman go in free agency, and Alejandro Villanueva, who signed with the Ravens. And I think that's definitely going to tremendously help that offensive line a lot. That's a really good replacement for Orlando Brown, who just got traded from the Ravens to, the Kansas City Chiefs right before the draft last week. So I think, he definitely, fills that hole in, and is a good replacement for him since Orlando Brown was pretty much their best offensive, lineman. So I think definitely Lamar Jackson, I'm sure, will be happy about that. And their line is definitely going to be better, from, in both the passing game and the running game as well. So I think certainly that will be, that will turn out to be a good signing for the Ravens and a good addition to their offensive line that was much needed.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys, man. I mean, fact of the matter is, a lot of Ben Roethlisberger's game is throwing it down the field, 20, 30 yards down. That's what he's known for. So now he's gonna have to change his game because we saw what happened last year at the end of the year, man. Like, he seemed like he couldn't throw it past, 15 yards accurately anyway. So Najee Harris is gonna have to be like, he's gonna need to get like Le'Veon Bell type of usage, in order for them to be real successful on offense, because Roethlisberger cannot shoulder, the responsibility on his own. So he's going to have to do a lot of check downs, what I mean? He's going to have to get a lot of, makeable passes, especially to the running back. And Najee's actually pretty nice at catching and running after. He's the guy that's hurdling people, all of last year. So.
Oh, yeah, remember those games,
yeah,
right? Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so he's athletic, he's fast, and, I mean, he was the first running back taken in this year's draft. So I think he can shoulder, the burden, but we'll see though, we'll see. They still have a good team, they did still win 11 straight last year until they forgot how to play football somehow.
Right,
but we'll see what happens. But Eddie, man, thank you. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. We missed you.
Yes. Welcome back, Eddie. Thanks for the questions. Appreciate you, bro. And good to hear from you. So
yes, sir.
I'm glad you're back, from hiding. I know you had a tough end to the season and tough start to the offseason. But at least with the draft, things are getting better for your Steelers. So look forward to seeing your questions, when football season starts in a few months.
For sure, man. On to MLB. Albert Pujols, a Hall of Famer. He got released
no doubt.
by the Angels. So, I think the Cardinals should definitely pick him up and sign him for a last contract and let him ride out the rest of the season right there. But we'll see what happens. It is a business, and these guys want to win. But on to the Red Sox, who own the best record in the MLB at 21-13. That record could change any minute now, because these games go fast. But, the Red Sox started off 0-3, and since that game, they've been on a tear and haven't really looked back. I think there's a stat out there. They've had comebacks in 14 games. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't played that many games, so it's pretty much like half the season they've been coming back and getting guys. So it's a team that's resilient and, not sitting on their ass in these games out there. So they got the best record. The Tigers series, what does this say right here? They lose 2 games, 2-1, or the Red Sox have 2 games, 2-1 on them?
They lost.
They won 2 out of 3, the Red Sox against the Tigers.
They won 2 out of 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Tigers are actually the worst team in baseball, so they had better won 2 out of 3 against the Tigers. So,
and as we're recording right now, they're in the middle of the Baltimore Orioles series, and they're leading by 2 games. So they're taking care of business, with these teams that they should be taking care of business with. Some upcoming games. And you know what, man? Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, they've been
especially
playing,
Bogaerts, man. My goodness.
He's the face of the franchise, man.
John.
He's the new face right there, and we have to. I know he's a quiet guy, but he has to be the face of the team right now.
Without question, absolutely. Him and JD Martinez are definitely the faces of this team, and this guy is our hottest hitter in baseball right now, and that's not a hyperbole. I'm not over exaggerating that. Like, there is no hotter hitter and player in the MLB right now than Xander Bogaerts. The guy's just hitting everything. Like, you can't get this guy out. Like, it's a guaranteed hit every time he's at the plate.
Right now it is,
Absolutely.
I'm glad they're having a good start, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they needed it in the worst way.
Then we'd be talking.
Then it'd be real bad for them. It'd be disastrous, a nightmare.
Yeah, shout outs to them, man.
Definitely. Shout out to the Red Sox and Xander Bogaerts. Keep doing your thing. X gonna give it to you.
So they have upcoming games.
That's his song. That's his walk-up song he comes up to, before he gets to the plate. Is X gonna give it to you? So definitely.
That's so clever, man.
Yeah, it is. It's clever. That's brilliant. Absolutely.
You think so? Like, that's so obvious, dude.
It's obvious, but it's a good one, though. It's still a good song to come up to bat, to come up to the plate and hear that song. That would definitely get me hyped in the zone and, ready to hit a home run.
This year, he's definitely been giving it to them. So, the
absolutely.
upcoming games for the Red Sox, they got 2 games left in the Orioles series, and then they got a 3-game series against the Athletics, and then after that, they got a 3-game series against the Angels. So, that's the schedule for them right there, and go Sox, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go Red Sox.
On to the NHL. The NHL signed a new deal with Turner Sports.
That's right.
I guess who was it? NBC Sports was
not
NBC, quick enough.
Not
quick enough to get to the table and sign these papers, so they went.
They were too slow, man. They were slacking. They were slipping.
You got to be quicker than that.
Yeah, for real.
I heard they actually pulled out of that deal.
NBC?
Yep.
Oh, really? Did they? Wow.
Yeah.
It's probably wasn't looking good for them. More lucrative stuff. It's kind of like Triller coming through and taking stuff over.
NBC has football, so.
Right, what do we need?
Right, football is their bread. That's their breadwinner right there. That's what makes them the most money. Exactly.
They have football and they have world football, which is soccer. So I think they can survive without the NHL.
I'm sure it's NBC, so but as of
Right,
right
right. But
now,
it's surprising though, because like it's been on there for so long, the NBC and NHL, especially all like the big games. Not only during the regular season, but in the playoffs and the Stanley Cup. Like when a game's on NBC, it's a big, important game.
I do think it's bad for hockey because
absolutely
Turner is a cable company, and that means if you don't have cable, there's a lot of games you might not be able to watch.
Blackouts.
So that's
right.
That's not good for MLB. I mean, they for NHL.
Not good for viewership. So
it's not good for.
Hopefully they figure something out.
It's not good for viewership, but it's not good for exposure for the sport. It's not good to get people interested in the sport. They definitely have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Whether it's CBS, somebody else, TBS,
simulcasting and stuff.
Yeah, somebody else needs to.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
For sure, man.
No, absolutely. I agree with that.
They clinched the playoff berth, like we told you guys on last week's pod. So they were in.
Well,
so
they just
last
clinched
couple of games
this week, John. They just clinched it this past week. So we didn't know that they were going to clinch, but we figured that.
No, we told them that in a few games that they would be clinching.
Right.
On the last podcast, but. They've had a couple games. They've had 3 games since the last one. They lost 2, won 1. They lost to the Devils 4-3. They won against the Rangers 4-0, and then lost against the Rangers 5-4. That was a shootout for sure. In the last 2 games of the season, that's on the 10th and the 11th. That will be against the Islanders and the Capitals. So we're gonna see some playoff Bruins hockey soon, man. And then one more thing, I believe.
John. Can't wait. I know. I'm looking forward to it.
Barry was saying that Halak came back and he didn't do very well. So the new goalie, Swayman, I believe.
Jeremy Swayman, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to probably be the backup for the playoffs moving forward.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. So they played Halak, against the Devils this week when they, when the Bruins faced the Devils, and he didn't do well at all. Like, he was straight garbage, like poo-poo. He sucked. And yeah, he was that bad, John. He was I'm not over exaggerating, like he was that horrific, to say the least. So and I think he pretty much knew the way, like he walked off the ice after he gave up that overtime goal against the Devils to lose the game. He even knew that, I fucked up and I just blew my chance, on being on the playoff roster and being the backup goalie, in the playoffs to Tuukka Rask. So, and particularly as well as Jeremy Swayman's been playing, and as much confidence and belief and and trust that they've shown in him and the team has in him, particularly Bruce Cassidy, the head coach, that it's definitely almost pretty much a given that he's going to be on the playoff roster and
he
the
was
backup goalie.
He was one of the hottest, for a stretch there.
Absolutely, he did have a hot streak. It lasted for a while too, right? Before he went down a little bit, but then he picked it right back up and got right back to how he was playing before. So the kids are really great, goaltender, and it's great that the Bruins do have a number 2 goaltender, because remember, that's something that bit them in the ass last year after Tuukka bailed in the bubble in the playoffs. And they pretty much were screwed and done for after that, because Halak didn't do a damn thing. And you even called it, John. You already knew that if you played a backup goalie in the playoffs, that's a problem. Like he's a backup for a reason, as you said, as I remember you saying on the podcast last year, and for the Bruins playoffs. So, I'm excited and looking forward to these Bruins playoffs. I think they have a really good shot to make a deep, playoff run, and even possibly get back to, the Cup finals, if they play their cards right and continue to play, great hockey like they're playing. So we'll see what happens, but it should be an exciting playoff run for the Bruins coming up.
Yes, sir. And lastly, I'm going to have to make you talk again, Barry. But I
No
think you'll be all
problem. I'm
right.
ready.
It's the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, and I think you have People of the Week right now with, a couple guys that we couldn't, choose one. So who are these guys and why are they getting this award this week?
Yeah. So, there were, John said two, guys that I, wanted to add to the B Money Lifestyle of the Week because I just couldn't decide on, which one to actually have as the B Money Persons of the Week. So once again, we're gonna have B Money People of the Week this week, and the first one is who's a popular guy in Boston and former Patriot, arguably the greatest tight end to ever play this game, and has certainly had a great career with the Patriots, and won 3 Super Bowls and made it to 4, and and is still I would say beloved figure, at least in out of people in Boston.
For some people, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. Depending on who you are and stuff. So
Who you ask?
Without, right, exactly. There you go, John. Yep, that's right. So, that person, would be Rob Gronkowski. So he had a really generous donation that he gave this week, and he ended up donating $1.2 million to the Charles River Esplanade playground renovation, and to be able to renovate that whole playground, and that actually covered the whole entire renovation. So they didn't need any other funds to be able to complete the renovation. So that was definitely awesome and very genuine and generous, excuse me. Donation by him and his part, and he's certainly always had a big heart and done a lot to give back to the community of Boston during his time here with the Patriots. So it's good to see that he still continuing to do that, even though he's not a Patriot anymore and he's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it goes to show how much he really does care about the city of Boston and making it a better place for for the kids and for the next generation that comes after us. So I think he certainly what there was a great that's certainly a great thing that he did, and I wanted to recognize him for that. So definitely shout out to Rob Gronkowski on being one of the B Money People of the Week. And the other person was a former defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles, Brennan Bear. He actually rescued a man from a crash from a semi truck that got hit by a train, and he actually pulled him out of the truck and was able to help him get out of there and get to the hospital and actually saved his life. He's in stable condition now, and hopefully he can gets better and his health improves moving forward. So we'll see how that goes. But I also wanted to recognize him because I thought that was a courageous and brave thing to do, and a genuine thing to do, and a thing of integrity as well. Doing the right thing when no one's watching. So definitely big shout out to Brandon Beer as being the other Be Mighty Person of the Week as well. And one last thing I want to mention, that it's actually my birthday coming up on Monday, so I'll be another year older by the time we record the next
That's another
podcast.
thing we forgot. So we'll take that one over right there. Happy birthday to Barry. You know what I mean? Because that's on Monday. Because I feel weird having you say happy birthday to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
right, I know it's kind of weird. Right.
We dropped the ball on Mother's Day and then on Barry's birthday, man, which is, I don't know. We're all thinking about getting out of here.
Right.
For sure, happy birthday, man.
Place. I appreciate
Happy
that,
birthday,
guys.
Barry.
Happy
Appreciate
birthday,
it.
Barry.
Appreciate it. So,
Yeah.
no, thank you, fellas. So, yeah, shout out to Rob Gronkowski and Brendan Bear on being the Be Money Lifestyle people of the week this week. And that's definitely that Be Money Lifestyle. And
For
once
sure,
again,
man.
happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful moms out there.
You doing anything
For
big
sure,
for your
man.
birthday?
Woo. I just gonna say, actually, I might be going on a trip this week to somewhere. I might be going somewhere to live the Be Money lifestyle and turn up and live my best life. So,
Yeah,
Are you
just-
saying? Are you
you know,
saying? Are you saying
what's
somewhere?
up?
Are you saying somewhere because you don't want to tell us where you're going?
Possibly, but no, I mean, I'm
There's
just
people listening, Vlad. Okay.
right. Yeah, that's true. They are, man. They are. So, but y'all gonna find out if y'all follow, me on social media, on Facebook and IG, and and on Snapchat and all that. Y'all gonna know where I'm at, and where B Money's gonna be celebrating his birthday this week. So y'all will find out soon where that location is.
Yeah, man. Well, Barry, thank you for that. Happy birthday
Yeah,
again,
no
man.
problem. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
The show wouldn't be what it is without you. So, enjoy
Thanks.
your
I
birthday.
appreciate that, John. That means a lot, man.
For sure.
I'm definitely grateful and blessed to be a part of the show, and that, and to be able to do this with you guys for now 60 straight weeks.
60 straight weeks, man.
Unreal, guys.
So,
Really made it to 60 episodes. So I guess in other words,
we've made it through 60 episodes.
60 episodes now that we're done with this one. Right. So
for sure,
as
man.
they say, we're on to episode 61. So 60
Yeah.
is in the books.
Before we do that, once again, happy birthday to the mothers out there.
No, happy
whoever's
Mother's
listening.
Day.
Mother's
Happy
Day. What did I say?
You had said happy birthday to all
Happy
the
Mother's
mothers
Day.
out there.
I'm getting it all messed up. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, man. It's
to
all
all the
good. I
mothers
got
out
your
there,
back, John.
for sure.
I got you, bro.
Right, and if you're a mother and it's your birthday today, happy birthday too, because I'm sure that's being bypassed for Mother's Day. Happy birthday.
Yes. And as well as all the tourists out there too. If you're a tourist, it's tourist season. Shout out to all you guys.
All right. We're not
I'm
doing
a
all
tourist, so I have to show love to my fellow tourist people.
Listen, we're not doing all that, all right?
I know I went a little bit too far with that, but hey, the tourists are the shit. So we got to let people know what's up.
And enjoy y'all month, y'all. But
yeah, we will.
And that's it.
Definitely.
For our episode, man. We'll catch you guys on the episode 61, like Barry said, man. Peace out.
Peace. Have a good week, everyone. See you next week. Happy Mother's Day.